Mixed martial arts is more than the fight itself. It's an art form as beautiful and graceful as a dance. Training mind, body, and spirit to work as one.
Oh! Dakota Ditcheva with the finish!
But MMA is also visceral.
Another one!
Bringing out something ancient and primal within us.
Dakota right hand and a hammer fist!
Learning to master the dance and tame the beast is what makes a complete fighter.
Yeah, they're looking out of her element here. She's hurt to the body, that's it.
People look at me on the street and don't see me as dangerous. But when I'm in the cage, that's all they see. But the truth is, I'm always a little bit dangerous.
What if the scariest woman in MMA wasn't loud, didn't talk trash, didn't flex, didn't need a viral moment to prove her worth? What if she just walked in, silently, and destroyed everything in her path? Her name is Dakota Ditcheva, part British, part Bulgarian, and 100% certified violence. She doesn't fight for decisions. She fights to erase doubt, to end careers, to remind everyone that true dominance doesn't come with noise. It comes with silence, blood, and precision. She's 14-0, 12 finishes. Only one fighter has survived all rounds. The rest, torn apart before they could even understand what hit them. She's not the future. She's the present. And this is the story of her reign of terror. These are the top 10 most vicious fights of Dakota Ditcheva, the queen of violence in the PFL. Dakota Ditcheva versus Jenny Line. Cage Steel 25. April 2021. April 10th, 2021. Doncaster, England. This was Dakota Ditcheva's professional MMA debut, and she didn't just win. She announced her arrival like a force of nature. Jenny Line, a fellow UK fighter, was expected to give Dakota a solid test, but the moment the bell rang, it was clear this wasn't going to be competitive. Dakota opened with lightning-fast front kicks that smacked into Line's midsection, forcing her backward. She controlled the center of the cage, showing advanced footwork, sharp timing, and calculated aggression. Line tried to swing her way out of trouble, but Dakota's striking was too sharp. A spinning elbow connected and opened the door for the finishing sequence. Dakota pressed forward, mixing punches and knees. And when Line attempted to recover, she walked straight into a flying knee that landed flush on the chin. The crowd was stunned. The ref jumped in. 1 minute and 8 seconds. Total annihilation. Dakota Ditcheva had arrived. Dakota Ditcheva versus Carrie Eim. Celtic Gladiator, 30. September 2021. Carrie Eim was gritty and tough, a forward pressure fighter who liked to brawl and bully. Against most prospects, that style worked, but against Dakota Ditcheva, it was a disaster. From the opening seconds, Dakota completely nullified the pressure with surgical striking. She fired stiff jabs and stabbing front kicks that forced Eim to hesitate. Every time Eim stepped forward, she ate a clean strike. Then Dakota changed levels, showing she wasn't just a striker. She executed a well-timed takedown, took mount, and began raining down elbows. Eim bucked and rolled, but Dakota's top control was tight. She landed dozens of clean shots from mount and postured up for added power. The referee gave Eim every chance, but there was no escape. The ground and pound was too much. Another finish, another evolution, and a clear sign that Dakota Ditcheva was becoming a complete mixed martial artist. Dakota Ditcheva vs. Simone Silva, PAWFC 1, January 2022. Silva was no walkover. The Brazilian fighter entered the bout with a 10-2 record, a background in boxing, and real experience in high-level competition. But Dakota made it look like a mismatch. From the opening bell, Dakota took command with a flawless combination of distance control and striking volume. She attacked Silva with long jabs, crisp 1-2s, and punishing low kicks. When Silva tried to close the distance, Dakota clinched and punished her with knees to the ribs and elbows over the top. Silva was durable enough to survive the first round, barely. She became the first opponent to drag Dakota into round 2, but that only delayed the inevitable. Early in the second round, Dakota backed Silva into the fence with relentless pressure. A devastating knee to the liver crumpled Silva, and Dakota swarmed with ground and pound until the ref pulled her off. Silva was in pain. The audience was stunned. And Dakota? She hadn't even broken a sweat. Dakota Ditcheva versus Patricia Bourhees. UK Fighting Championships, December 2021. Patricia Bourhees came in with a grappler's mindset. Her goal was to clinch, grind, and drag Dakota to the mat. But what she didn't realize was that Dakota was more than ready for that kind of fight. From the opening clinch, Dakota landed slicing elbows and short knees. Bourhees clung to her desperately, hoping to neutralize the striking. But Dakota never let her settle. She reversed positions, broke free, and cracked Bourhees with a head kick that barely missed cleanly, but forced a reaction. As the fight wore on, Dakota's pressure built. Bourhees finally got a takedown, but Dakota stood up instantly and punished her for the effort. In round 2, Dakota sprawled a desperate shot, landed on top, and transitioned to mount. From there, it was brutal. Elbows and hammer fists poured down. Bourhees turtled. The ref warned her. "She needs to do something," the commentator yelled. She couldn't. Another finish. Another opponent overwhelmed. Dakota Ditcheva versus Hassna Jabber. PFL 9 2022 playoffs, August 2022. It was her PFL debut, and Dakota was fighting in London. The pressure was high. The crowd was electric, and Dakota delivered in under a minute. Hassna Jabber was no joke. 3-1 with a reputation for toughness and a solid kickboxing base. But Dakota didn't give her a second to get comfortable. She opened with a front kick that blasted into Jabber's midsection and sent her stumbling. Before Jabber could recover, Dakota walked her down, clinched up, and launched a devastating knee to the liver that completely shut her down. Jabber signaled surrender as she crumbled before the referee even touched them. Official time, 0:58. It was a statement. The Queen of Violence had entered the PFL, and she wasn't here to play. Dakota Ditcheva versus Catherine Coruganos. PFL Championship, November 2022. This was supposed to be Dakota's biggest test. Catherine Coruganos was undefeated, dangerous, and had a perfect finishing record. She barely lasted a minute. Dakota wasted no time, cracking Coruganos with her very first right hand. The impact was loud. Coruganos stumbled backward, shocked by the speed and power. Dakota didn't hesitate. She followed with a brutal knee to the liver and another clean hook that dropped Coruganos to the canvas. Dakota Ditcheva versus Malin Hermanson. PFL Europe, March 2023. Malin Hermanson came in confident, promising to expose Dakota's so-called weaknesses. She didn't even make it to the 3rd minute. From the jump, Dakota established distance with a stiff jab and feints that froze Hermanson in place. When Hermanson tried to push forward, Dakota cracked her with a right cross that sent her reeling. Seeing the opening, Dakota launched a head kick that detonated on the temple. Hermanson dropped instantly. The ref sprinted in to save her. "That's it! That's it! Dakota Ditcheva does it again!" the commentator screamed. Another brutal finish. Another lesson. Don't call out Dakota unless you're ready for war. Dakota Ditcheva versus Cornelia Holm. PFL Europe 3 playoffs, September 2023. Cornelia Holm had never been finished, not in dozens of amateur bouts and not as a pro. She was known for durability and toughness. But against Dakota, none of that mattered. Holm tried to turn the fight into a war, pushing forward with aggression. But Dakota's counters were razor sharp. She popped Holm with jabs, mixed in front kicks, and punished her with body shots. In round 2, Dakota clinched against the fence. Then, bam! A slicing elbow came down the middle and split Holm's forehead open. Blood poured down her face. Dakota saw red, literally, and swarmed with knees and punches. The ref had seen enough. Holm collapsed. The perfect record of durability shattered. Dakota Ditcheva versus Lisa Malden. PFL 1, April 2024. Lisa Malden was marketed as Dakota's toughest test yet. A physically strong, well-rounded fighter with knockout power and grappling credentials. But Dakota didn't just pass the test. She destroyed it. From the moment the fight started, she dictated the pace. She opened with a front kick that knocked Malden back, then followed with a jab that snapped her head. The range management was perfect. Then came the elbow. Step in, violent, clean. Malden wobbled. Dakota pressed forward with a savage combination. Uppercut, knee to the body. and finally a devastating head kick that sent Malden crashing. The ref jumped in. The commentary booth erupted. Dakota stood still, emotionless. A storm in human form. Dakota Ditcheva versus Gina Bishop. PFL 7, 2024 playoffs, August 2024. A playoff semifinal. High stakes. And Gina Bishop was a legit threat, an elite grappler who had never been finished. This time, she didn't see the second round. Dakota opened with icy calm. She framed in the clinch, punished Bishop with knees to the body, and defended every takedown attempt with perfect balance. Then came the flurry. An elbow to the side of the head, a hook to the chin, and a crushing knee to the liver. Bishop fell. Dakota swarmed. At 3:56 of round 1, the ref stopped the fight. Dakota didn't raise her hands. She just turned and walked away. Business as usual. So the question isn't whether Dakota Ditcheva is the future of MMA. That's already answered. The real question now is, who in the world is brave enough to try and stop her? Because right now, Dakota Ditcheva isn't just on a winning streak. She's building a reign of terror, and the era of the Queen of Violence has just begun.